we're here. We're here. This is really wrong with Lynn and
Who
Brian.
are you? You can't even
Yeah,
get it out.
yeah. Who are you? I'm Lynn Serrano. Who are you?
I thought I was Lynn.
Oh, not today.
Oh, dang it.
Hi, whoever's in the back.
I'm that other. Wait, hold on. I'm that guy. Right
Yeah,
Brian.
yeah.
Brian.
And Brian's in California right now, so we really appreciate Brian being here on his vacation. So thank you for being here, and
Heading
thank
to
you.
the beach today. It's I'm wearing shorts. It's so weird. It's February and I'm wearing shorts.
That's awesome. It's a great adventure. Great adventure.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So today we're going to talk about how do you deepen trust consistently. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a great topic.
I think it is because it's not a one size fits all thing where it's like, okay, I'm trusting.
That's right. It's
Doesn't
not,
work
is
that
it?
way in the world.
Yeah. Well, we can only wish, right?
It's something that you do. It's something that needs to be done consistently, you know?
Yeah, it does. And it that's can be a long time process, without a doubt.
Well, no, I think it's an eternal process. I think it's something that you do for those that matter most to you. It's something that, number one, you do for yourself because you have to, otherwise it's inauthentic, right? And depending on the situation in life, if you're not trusting for the right reasons, well, then you're fooling yourself,
Absolutely.
and you're probably not. Gene Johnson, thanks for being here.
That must be a friend of yours.
No idea. Nope,
I
not
don't.
mine.
No, not mine neither.
Nope.
Not a friend of mine neither. Must be a follower.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey, go find some
we're gonna
Ralph.
share
What's up?
WhatsApp phone numbers on here. I love it.
No, I don't think so, but that's okay. It's a good try. I don't knock anybody for trying anything, but there's
Right.
got to be some trust in that, wouldn't you say?
Depends on what they want or what their purpose is. I'll just leave it at
Gee.
that.
Let's see. I gotta take care of some stuff here.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
anyways.
we thank you all for being here. For all of our normal listeners, we're grateful for you, and for those of you catching this on the replay. Lynn and I, every day, just off the cuff, we talk about life issues, and we don't have all the answers, but if we can help you see something or disrupt something in your life, that's what it's all about. And we're finishing up with the third week on relationships, and this week has been all about trust and looking at it from different points of view and different, like yesterday was stories about trust, and today we're finishing it up with deepening trust and how that happens. How do you do that? What are the things that look like in your life that deepen trust? And in order for trust to be deepened, it's in both of our opinions that it's something you have to work at. It's not something that happens overnight, and it's not okay, I'm trusting.
Yeah, exactly. No, there's definitely lots of definitions of trust.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm just laughing at my comments over here. So it's all good.
We got fans of all kinds, apparently.
Absolutely, we do. Oh my goodness. So anyhow, yeah, it's like you said, it is internal trusting, and it's internal to know your own intuition and what to let other people have power over, like I think it's kind of a good thing where you realize, you either can let other people, like, good example, like if I trusted you with a secret.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can either take a stance and say, okay, I'm going to trust him with that secret, or I can be boisterous and share that with the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't have to trust whether you're going to say something about it or not. You know what I mean? There's like two choices in trust.
Mm-hmm.
You either keep things to yourself,
mm-hmm.
or you trust that other people you're dealing with can trust you, with just the, yeah. So I mean, it's definitely.
Well, number one, it's not a one size fits all thing, because
Mm-hmm.
it depends on the context of each one of those relationships or where the trust is going to. But then second of all is that it's you have to give something up in order to give something. You can't you can't give nothing like in terms of vulnerability or risk taking and expect to get something back. I mean, it's a reciprocity thing. You know,
Right.
you have to be willing to step out, and get uncomfortable in order for the reward. Just like
Right.
sales, marketing, anything where you want to play a big game, you have to give something of yourself in order to get something. You
Right.
know, whether that reward is money, fulfillment, love, you have to give something in order to get something. And you know, I don't believe in calculated risks. I just, you know, you get lost in here, and then it's like, well, if I do this, then I do that. It's like you're either all in or all not.
Right.
I think the human brain has a way of really complicating things, even though things by their nature are simple. And then it comes down to either you take action or you don't. And
Right.
you either fulfill upon the reward that you wanted or the outcome that you wanted, or you don't. Um, and this isn't what's up, Jerry?
Hi, Jerry. Thank you for watching our show.
Yeah,
We
we're
love you.
Lynn, we've graduated from dynamic duo to rock stars. How about that?
Whoop,
In
whoop.
Jerry's eyes.
Hey, Jerry is a rock star. I'm going to try to talk to him this weekend because I love him and I want to see how he's doing. So, yeah.
And it's just something to me is that at life we try to make concessions for things in terms of we want to get a lot but we don't want to give a lot, and I don't feel that that's possible. In life there's parts of life that are great and there's parts of life that you learn from through
Hmm.
things that happen. And but in order for to experience it best, if you're not playing, oh yeah, complicated machine 100%.
Hmm.
In my training, in some of my training, it was they call the brain the meaning making machine, because that's what the brain does. It makes meaning off of things, right? And the problem is like, what's the truth? What actually happened? And what do we make it mean? And
Right.
more than likely, we take it personal. If somebody cut us off in traffic, we take it personal. If somebody didn't say hi and we said hi to them when we were walking, we take it personal that that person's in a bad mood, or maybe I'm not a good person, right? We
Yep.
make all this stuff up from assumptions
Yeah.
at the very least,
I
you
love
know?
the 4 agreements. I love the
Yeah.
4 agreements. I have to uh, go and focus on that sometimes because, everything's not about you.
Hmm.
And when we do realize it's a personal reflection, we're mirroring our reflection everywhere we go in what
Hmm.
we think.
Right.
And I'm always, checking that out, going, do I trust those feelings? Are they coming from emotions, personal experience emotions, or is it just, I'm feeling that energy? Like I double question things and say, where is that coming from? And not trying to sit with it, making it my personal thing, but
Right.
having that perspective of something must be going on with them,
Yeah.
or is it something going on with me right now that's reflecting something that, it's just like if you buy a car or this or that, you buy a car that's red, all of a sudden you're reflecting everything that's red, so what does that mean? I mean, what, I didn't notice the cars that were red before, same deal.
Right. There's so many different pieces to this, and
Hmm.
there's no right or wrong. But what gets in the way is our brain, because our brain is great for certain things, but it's also detrimental to things, right?
Absolutely.
And our brain is gonna try to figure out stuff by default.
Hmm.
It wants to survive. That's the whole intention of what our brain is meant to do, get us to
Yeah.
survive. And
Yeah.
the more people that are in survival mode on a day-to-day or yearly basis, the easier it is to fall into that trap. And I mean, I know that I've shared the example of, the crabs in a jar or whatever,
Hmm.
right?
Bucket. Yep.
In a bucket where one of them finds out that there's no ceiling to that, or there's no cap or cover, and they can get out. But then once that's arrived at, then all the other crabs are trying to bring it back down.
Yeah.
Um, or for instance, the baby elephant. Hey Tracy, great to
Hey,
see you as well.
JC.
Thanks for being here. Is that baby elephant? It is controlled by the
Yes.
fight or flee mode. Absolutely, the amygdala. You
Absolutely.
know,
Yep.
as long as your brain survives moment by moment, it's anything more is kind of irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really put much emphasis on anything other than just living moment by moment and surviving, you
Yeah.
know? And
And if
so
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and if kids could learn that from so young, in the right way, it's just, it's just sad that, we know better when we're older and we don't know any better when we're younger, kind of thing. And if wise people could take and mold the younger, this has been on my mind so much. And I was talking to Glenn Morshower, he was talking, and it just dawned on me. I've mentioned how I wish we could take kids when they're little and opening up a school, and I was just like, I don't know how ever I'm going to do that. But yesterday it came to me that we've got the internet now. I could probably start my dream of helping kids when they're younger if parents would be willing to have their kids evaluated on a level of letting letting somebody that can actually that comes from the right school of thought, like all the self-development spectrum, to watch kids at home playing with their toys and seeing the way they interact, and guiding parents on how to help them be the person they were meant to be on this earth. Like, that just came to me last night, and I'm like,
Mhm.
shit, I can make this really possible sooner. Because it just like dawned on me. I was looking at all of the reasons why it couldn't work or what it would take, but last night I was able to see the reason why it can help. And if we all want to collectively help our next generations be better and do better in a level of, even if they have to go to public school, you can still direct them to the structure. You have your kids longer, the weekends and everything. You can structure them to realize there's certain things that are being taught in school are just like watching a bad Netflix movie or
Right.
something,
Right.
where they
Yeah.
can be molded younger. So I got that last night, and I'm like, I'm really going to um start working on that thought. But like you said, you just invoked the whole thing about the thinking. And
Hey, Robert, Mr.
hi.
Toronto's here.
Hi.
What's
So,
up, Robert?
helping kids trust when they're younger, and building these skills when they're younger, is something I'm really going to push and pursue that, because I think it's so needed. It's so
Yeah.
needed.
Well, in the, to give credit where credit's due, I mean, Jeffrey Gitomer says, "Don't tell me what you can't do, tell me what you can do."
Yeah.
And there's going to be 10 negative things for every positive thing. Either that, or there'll be all positive or excuse me, all negative and no positive, or all constraining and limiting and nothing of abundance.
Right.
And it's like, one thing that would parallel that is like in the wedding community, uh, when a couple and I would go into a venue and look around and do a site visit or do a visit there, you know, if a venue shows up, or if whoever's in charge of the venue shows up and says, here's what you can't do,
Hmm.
it's
Well,
it's a red flag for me, because and they might not even be aware of it, but to me it's like a red flag,
oh
because
gosh.
why not tell them what you can do and alleviate any misunderstanding or conflict later?
Oh my gosh, we got this place here, a venue, Brian. It's terrible. She's got bad reviews for it, and she wonders why. But
Mhm.
seriously, everyone that has an experience there, mind you, it's a beautiful venue, right? It's beautiful. She's got that. But she does the whole, you can't do this, you can't do that. A bride wanted to have her holsters with her guns, her 22s in
Well,
there. And she took a quick picture, and they had to hide it and take whatever. But it was like, you can't do that on my property. It was like, we live in freaking Montana, where
right.
you go out to the 17-mile marker here and everybody shoots. And like, it just freaking makes no
Well,
sense.
and here's the paradigm that I don't agree with, or maybe not even a paradigm, but a view. Okay, somebody's able and willing to take somebody's money, their hard-earned money, for a wedding day, possibly saved up for years. Okay, maybe there's parent contributions. They'll gladly take their money, but they won't be honest and upfront with you right then and there about what you can or can't do. To
Yeah.
me, that's unethical and immoral,
Yeah.
because a couple, just like their parents, they don't know what they don't know about what this wedding can be.
Right.
That's a conversation and a journey all in itself.
Right.
But if somebody comes at it from to me, that's a lack of accountability, that's a lack of professionalism. But if somebody were to say, here's what you can do, and here's you can't bring guns on property. You're
Yeah.
going to diffuse a lot of situations that
Oh,
people might
yeah.
have conflict with and possibly go somewhere else. But the problem
Absolutely.
is that no, the money is in your mind is more abundant than, or is in more, you're more concerned about the money than you are about the outcome. And she's getting the reward or the outcome of that. And that's her fault, in my opinion. You know, it's, only once did I ever indulge my only macro, you know what it told me. Leave it up to Robert with the lengthy. We love you,
Yeah.
Robert.
He wrote a book here. Acknowledge
Excellent.
huge debtor. Yeah.
It's it's kind of like this could inspire a chuckle. I love it, chuckle. But there was there was not a meme, but a picture, and it had a saying on it. And anytime I hear the words, here's what we always do, right? When I
Mm,
hear those words or in some framing of that, it
cookie
makes
cutter.
it makes me cringe and it throws up a red flag in my brain because here's what we always do is status quo.
Mm-hmm.
We're not willing, and obviously just reading between the lines, I don't know what they're actually thinking when they share that, what their point of view is. But just by using those words, it puts up a red flag in my brain for my customers because who cares what you do? You know what I mean? Like you either are willing to customize and personalize this wedding for the couple and make it about them or make it about you. There's only two options, right? And I don't believe for a second that just because somebody says, oh, we personalize all our events. Okay, show it. How do you take those actions? It's not saying it, it's the doing of it that makes a difference. And it's it's throughout the whole process. It's not, oh, well, we're going to commit to get the service agreement signed and then we're not going to uphold anything.
Yeah.
Because you might have snake oiled sales, somebody into the deal, but now you either fulfill upon what they're reserving you for and deliver upon that, or you get what's coming to you.
Yep.
And it just amazes me about how easily wedding professionals,
Hi,
um,
Laura. Thanks for
absolutely.
being here. Answer your question. Don't be shady. I
But
love it.
I think, Laura, it goes deep. It goes deep into their values, what they're after, their intentions. Yeah, don't get caught being self-serving. Yeah,
You go,
and
girl.
and the beautiful part about this, Laura, is that it's all in their actions.
Hmm.
If they don't know what they're doing, I'd be very, very surprised. And
Well,
then they wonder why people don't return or they don't get referrals. You
yeah.
know,
Well, there's a lot of people that are driven just by money basis, and when they're driven by money basis, they finally get caught. I mean, truly, authenticity is out the door, and so are the customers.
well, and the crazy part about this, at least in my experience, is that they're oblivious to it.
Right.
When they don't see people coming in and they have to advertise more and market more and do all this, they have absolutely no idea what kind of disaster and what chaos they're creating.
Well, and that's a problem with a lot of things is people go ahead and they don't take care of their customers they have right now. They don't appreciate them. It's just like let's take the cable company. They just keep gouging the people that come in, and
Yep.
they wait till the people bitch and want to cancel to say, "You want $5 off your account?
How'd that go again? How'd that go again?
You want $5 off of your account?"
I just had to hear it again. Laura says this week has been very eye opening. Yes, my salon is all based on love and confidence building 100%. Now, another thing too, Laura, is that it's moment by moment, day by day for everybody that comes into your building.
Yeah,
Unless it's that, because everybody has their experience every time they come in, and there's a report card that's always being written, you
yeah,
know, and it's amazing to me about, like we've talked about early on, this week about trust, where it can take you years to develop it and be gone in a second. Somebody can, in Laura's context,
hmm,
after, being in the salon business for 25 years, you work your butt off and you keep showing up consistently all the time. There's a lot of revenue right there, and who knows how many referrals, that blossom from, people that have came to
hmm.
her for services, and it could be gone just like that if you don't deliver that one time every time they show up. And,
Absolutely.
and also, especially, I'm not a woman, obviously, but vanity. There's something
Yeah.
about vanity that if somebody is going to do hair and makeup and all that, and somebody's going to, you're going to allow somebody to do that for you, that you trust that person above and beyond just anybody.
Yeah, and it's a constant trust
Yep.
on, do I matter? It's just like the little ladies that love to get their hair cut,
Yep.
or set every day. Let me tell you, I used to go to the pool with these ladies and I couldn't splash around them because their hair, but the hairspray, oh my gosh, didn't help my asthma any. But I gotta tell you, they love getting their little hair done, and eventually they're gonna pass, but you know, you got to give them the service that they deserve, and they expect it, or they'll go somewhere
Well,
else.
I would be even willing to say, okay, Laura said, I just stood on my salon and thank God for all the people who paid me, which allowed me to pay. Uh,
Lane through college,
uh,
her son Lane.
yeah, okay, lane through. Wow, that's an incredible achievement right there.
Roller sets pay the rent. she's in she's in Charleston, or South.
Okay.
I was gonna say South Dakota. It's South Carolina. She's a queen. She does a great
Well, I
job.
mean,
So
even in Charleston, with the vacationing out there, and I think it's more of a, isn't it more of a tourist area, right? Charleston, South
it's
Carolina.
beautiful. I think it is, right, Laura? It's a tourisy
Because isn't
town.
that where that one resort is? I can't think of it, but people, Hilton Head, isn't that where Hilton Head is? I think maybe Charleston.
Hilton Head's around there somewheres, right, Laura?
Because
Yeah,
I know
she'll
some
let us
people that
know.
live in that
She said
area.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
So
I mean, you just look
tourism.
at that. It's like, okay, people that have the discretionary income, people where beauty and all of that may be a little bit more magnified, or they want to pamper themselves a little bit more often because they have that income, and and if they only come around, you know, if they just come there for a season or whatever because they have a vacation home, wow. And those and everybody like that would talk amongst themselves when they're out for dinner or whatever. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I like your hair. Where'd you get it done? And then it
That's
just,
right.
but you got to keep showing up all the time without expecting anything. You
That's
know,
right.
cater to
And
the
she does.
customer right
She's
in
got.
front of you. Yep, absolutely.
Yep. She's very classy. Miss Laura is very classy. So
I
for
mean, you
sure.
you you know you you know you can throw money at marketing and advertising. You can do that to your heart's content. But there's been countless examples where people don't freaking get it, and they have to go through potential bankruptcy or having nobody in the restaurant. They might
Yeah.
never get it. Where it's like, wow, okay, you're not taking care of your customers.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, I'm the kind of personality, like I've already shared on the show, that it's like if I get unacceptable service, and after studying all this stuff and being in business for almost 30 years myself, where I'm working with people on the biggest day of their lives, on their wedding day, right? And we've been working for anywhere from a couple months all the way to years to put this production together. And there's a lot at stake. And even if it's a small, you know, services. And if they don't even know their product or the way it should taste or the way it should be, that's not on me.
Well, well, you know, it's funny you say that because before COVID, there's these restaurants that feel like hey, you got waiting lines and you got people waiting to come in and get food, and then then COVID comes and they're not getting patronage, and people are like, but that place wasn't that good anyways. So the ones that sucked for service, they're the ones who paid really, really dearly because they didn't care before because they saw people were coming in, and now you had to cater to the people to support them. They took for granted that everybody was hungry going out, but then when people can't go out, now the tables are turned to realize how much you value a customer and how important a customer is.
Well, and there's countless examples from Tony Shea at Zappos and things and stories that he's done for people, and it's like we all have the potential of making a difference.
Right.
And it's more creative than it is financial, where we have to make an investment, right? But it's like we don't there's a tendency to only acknowledge when business goes away, but not acknowledge it while it's there, you know? And it just amazes me, like when I shared on yesterday's show about trust, about that individual that contacted me because he wanted to, you know, find out how I did things. And I love this Apple story. I got the, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a book that was written several years ago, but I mean, everything um, is still relevant today. If anything, it's so commonplace. It's the simple things always stand out the most. You know, we are all in mankind in industry. How you are treating your fellow man in regards. But see, the thing about it is that on a macro level, we've all heard these things over and over again, like what Mark
Mhm.
says here. What we
Yep.
do on an individual basis when it's in that moment of behind the scenes, that's all that matters. Every single time
Right.
that somebody shows up, you know, it,
Absolutely.
I've heard different things like this. Exactly. I put my money where my heart is 100%. We can hear all of these professionals and experts talk about service and relationships, but I sometimes I find it cliche. I find it that they, number one, don't even know what a relationship is. Number two, they don't know what creates them. And number
Yeah.
three, they don't know how to deliver that in a
Right.
wow factor format above and beyond what they ever knew that they could, how they could serve their customers, right? They didn't even know that they could serve them that great,
Yep.
right? And it's a journey, but I think that some of that has to be made for yourself. It's not something that books are going to teach you. The books
Mhm.
may spur the idea, but you got to put in the work given how you serve and whatnot. You know, I mean, like I said yesterday, this profound thing, imagine a guest at a wedding saying, wow, that wedding was way too personalized.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
ain't gonna
I
happen.
if we apply that to any of our businesses, whatever it is, from like Mark and sales coaching and training, to Laura and her salon and hair care and all of that, there's no limits to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what holds us back is this.
Absolutely.
How are people going to perceive it? Am I being too forward? Right now, the distinction is, and this is something that we're going to continue to unravel as society moves forward, is that true authenticity, passion, and care is something rarely experienced in life. And so when people actually have it, people hold them skeptical because they've never felt this way before,
Yeah.
or somebody's never made them feel that way before.
Yeah.
Because it's so irregular, that's why they're like, whoa, this is uncomfortable for me. Not that that person is being inauthentic, it's just that they run into those individuals very rarely in life.
Yep.
Yeah. and
Yep.
and it's all based on here, it's all of the wheels turning up here that are predetermining this stuff even before a word is said. If it's a possible business venture, or somebody wants to go in for a haircut, I mean, there's just so many different layers of this that you've never even talked to some of these people, and they're already making assumptions about you. So
Rob,
Robert said, I've never heard that one or thought it, and I've been to a few. The one I
about the
remember most is when
about it being personal, the wedding being too personal. I think that's what he was talking about.
well, it 100%, but that's the journey. I
Yeah.
mean, who wants a cookie cutter wedding?
Yep.
Nobody that I work with does. But until you actually bring it to their attention that they have a choice in the matter, and in my opinion, it's got to be raw, it's got to be real, and it's not cocky. It's just 100% truthful.
Yep.
That it's like you have a choice in the matter, and I can already tell the possible outcome you're going to get depending on if it's cookie cutter or if it's personalized.
Yeah. Especially when they tell you this is how we do it here at a venue. It's like, oh shit. Have
Yeah.
you seen one video of this wedding? Go look at the video and see what you think how that wedding's gonna come out.
Well, exactly. How do you handle things when no one is watching? 100% your mind controls you. Yeah. You know, and that this whole thing is, when talking with prospective customer, it's really interesting about how much if they haven't seen me perform before or whatever, how much they assume just by something that somebody told them, something from a sales point of view. Like they just want to get them to buy something, right? That's the furthest part from my thought process. I want to even see if we have a connection. I want to
Yeah.
see if there's a likability to us. That has absolutely nothing to do with the sale. And, you know, a classic paradigm in my industry, the wedding industry, is that it's all about a dollar amount and an availability of a date. Well, sometimes, you know, it doesn't happen too much anymore, but it's like, I need to know the date. And it's like, well, tell me the options. Okay, sure, I can do that. I would love to. I need to know a little bit more information, right?
Yeah.
You know, and the date is one of them. And you know, I don't say this to people, but I'm like, do you want to work with strangers on your wedding day, or do you want to know who's going to be a part of that day?
Yeah.
And if the connection is not important to you, I may not be the right choice. It doesn't mean that you're not good people, but I
Yeah.
start with a connection. If we don't have a connection first, how are you going to ever trust anybody that's working on your behalf on your wedding day to take care of everything?
So have you tell many people, sorry, I'm not for you?
Yeah, over
Have
to
you?
Pat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not meant to be arrogant or ego.
Right.
I really
No.
want to make that. I really want to make that
Right.
clear. But I'm not going to be the best choice to. I want to be a wedding. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool, Mark. Yeah.
Mark, we'll show up together. How's that?
Oh boy.
Except Mark might or Brian might figure out who I am right away.
No.
Oh, there's Lynn.
You guys will have to do a show. You and Mark will do a pop-up show. And hey, Brian's doing an event and we're gonna do a show. You know,
Anything's
it's
possible.
it does it happen very often? Not really. I mean, obviously coming out of COVID, who knows what it's gonna look like, but it, I don't know what it's gonna look like, but when, because I've never went through a pandemic, we both of us never have, right? And probably
Right.
many of our viewers have never have. So I don't know what it's gonna be like when you remove 1 year, literally 1 year of weddings, and you put it on another year.
That's crazy.
It's kind of like when you look at like a water shower, right? Like you can see the clouds forming, and it's like, okay, when is it going to just dump? Is it going to
Yeah.
come a little at a time, or is it just going to open up and it's just going to come down?
Yeah, you know what? They always had like the baby boomers, it ended after all those babies were stopped born. But now it's going to be like the wedding boomers, like holy shit, like 2021 or 2022 is where a lot of people are going to get married. You'll probably have like a lot of people get married like 22 of 22 or something,
Yeah.
like
Well,
people booking all those crazy things.
and the thing about it is that the way that I just had a conversation the other night with a bride and groom where I did her brother's wedding in 19, and I look at how people reserve professionals, just like, especially the highest priority professionals, the must-haves, the people that are going to make or break your day, the ones you
Right.
confide in, the ones you literally give the keys to make your wedding happen, right? That's not everybody. There's usually a top three that you confide in, the ones that are going to make your dreams come true in your outcome, right? That's a short list for the top professionals.
I
And
got a
so,
question for you.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So do you have things that are booked out for like next year already? Because do
Yep.
you?
Yep.
Yeah, dates. Yeah, because
Because I mean, but the difference is that I don't have any. I'm coming to the end of the couples that actually had to change their date from one previous. Now that things are opening up a little bit, now it all
yeah.
depends on where people are in the country, but they can see that slowly but surely there's an end on the horizon to this
Hmm.
this thing we got going on in our world. You know,
Right.
at least without the new stuff that's coming on the horizon, apparently. But
Yeah.
because so all of the ones that are coming in now are all new, so they've went through the whole process. Maybe they want to get married earlier, but they held off,
Hmm.
so they don't have to, they might have dealt with the heartache and all of that, of dates and whatnot. But when couples have to stop, cancel their date, start a new one, pay retainers, that's going to take a toll on anybody,
Hmm.
you know and here's the thing is that yes, I have to pay my bills and make a profit, right? But I'm not going to allow money to get in the way of that. you know if I can't deliver the outcome that they want, or if I feel like I can be of the best service to them, I would be a disservice by saying that I can.
Right.
Most people would be driven by the Pavlov's dog, with the,
Yep,
right
yep,
above the dog's. That's not me. That's
yeah,
not me at all. And I think that in the wedding industry, that there's a paradigm that is never talked about. And that just because a prospective customer has a budget and they have money to invest doesn't mean it's best with me. That's 100% transparent. You know, it doesn't mean it's best spent with me because I'm not the cup of tea for everybody. And
right,
there's customers that I'm not going to help them fulfill upon their day. If they don't want to get involved in their wedding and engage in what's possible and form this partnership and work together, if they just want to clap their fingers and their wedding magically happens, I'm not their guy.
yeah.
I'm not their guy. You know? How can you create a relationship when you don't work with people? You don't get to know them, you don't confide in them and trust them. It's
Yeah,
almost impossible, you know?
it's
And
difficult.
so to further answer your question, Lynn, is that I have, said no to people. And it's like because my reputation and credibility, plus I'm in touch with my heart,
Right,
I would rather let a wedding go of somebody that they're not my customer.
yeah.
Just like I dislike to use the dating realm, but you're not going to go on a second date with somebody that you didn't like being around in the first one.
Yeah,
You know
exactly. Makes sense.
that when I talk to colleagues about that example, it kind of creeps them out a little bit. But I mean, it's true. I mean, there's
True.
parallels in that.
It's
You know.
absolutely true.
So, did I answer
So,
your question?
yes, you did. That's
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I think that when it comes into that, when it comes into that, is that they have the money, yes, but I have a reputation and credibility to uphold.
Yeah.
And
And
especially with social media and all of this, it's like it's very easy for somebody to leave comments and say how good you are, how bad you are, or whatever. And it's like, I'm not going to risk that over a wedding I shouldn't be taking.
yeah.
You know,
Did you probably at first though took things that you knew you shouldn't, right? There
well, I
there
mean,
must have been times.
any business has to.
Yeah.
You got to get experience. You got to build up your portfolio. You got to build up your Rolodex.
Yeah.
But it's not a set it and forget it type of thing. You got to be grinding every day.
Yeah.
You
Lessons
know,
learned, hey?
I mean, it's no different than learning a skill or I don't know, wanting to learn how to, I don't know, bow hunt or
Mhm.
hunt or fish or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You have to, or if you wanted to, I don't know, I can't name, if I wanted to learn how to do lighting technology and lighting design, you got to start out by being a grunt, setting up lights and
Right.
wiring them and running DMX and all of that kind of stuff. You have to
Yeah.
do those things in order to weed out if you're not going to continue to do that or if it's not for you.
Yep. That's true.
So what are you willing to do? Are you willing to do what it takes? And if you're
Mhm.
not willing to do what it takes, that's okay, but that's the answer.
Yeah.
And I love those that are not willing to do what it takes at whatever you want, at whatever industry you're part, profession you're in. I always love to ask people that question, are you willing to do what it takes?
Yeah. So let me ask you another question. I just thought because we're on the topic of Deepen Trust constantly.
Yeah,
Do you feel like it takes your customers a little bit to hello Sandy, thanks
I
for
see.
being here. Do you think it takes you've noticed where the progression and trust with your clients, how cool it is that all of a sudden things that they didn't feel comfortable telling you at first that all of a sudden came, as the time went on, you felt that trust was deepened
I
there.
think I think so. I think a couple examples that come to mind is one with a group of mine named Eric. I think that even if they've been referred to me or they've had conversations with people I've done weddings for, maybe they're at those weddings. I make sure that they try to engage with those people before we ever get into a conversation because they have all the answers and they don't have to refer me and word of mouth and all of that.
Right.
It's not like I'm paying them to do that. They're doing it because they want them to have the same experience that they had, right? And
Nice.
so I'm going to be who I'm going to be.
Right.
I'm going to challenge my customers. I'm going to hold them accountable to the wedding that they know or that they told me that they wanted or that they're up for creating, you know? Does it happen all at once that is all, that process is created all at once? No, it's a development. It happens through time. But the first several months of the planning process is all about the relationship building, right?
Yeah.
But I want to be honest and upfront. Whatever they reserve me for, that there's going to be some time involved. Are you willing
Yeah.
to engage a couple hours into this? Are you willing to accept some homework? I would rather
Oh,
be honest and transparent up front than to have things come, "Oh, we didn't know it was gonna be this amount of work, but you wanted a wedding all about you, though."
yeah.
I would rather clear the air about that right away, and then if it doesn't work, then we move on our merry way
Yeah.
and everything is great, you
Yeah,
know?
especially about the homework stuff.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm so glad we have a show together. Oh, I'm
Oh,
proud.
yeah. Homework.
But what I can say, though, is that, it's I'm a very direct person. I'm very honest and upfront, but I know what it takes to create, the for the type of weddings and performances I do, I know what it takes.
Mhm.
And I can also see what doesn't work. I don't have all the answers, but when I can visually see something after doing this over 800 times, you know, I'm not going to put a couple on a path of failure. But I will tell them, I'm like, okay, here are the possible outcomes that could happen if you make that choice. I think that there has to be a service there. If I didn't tell them the repercussions or whatever by making a decision, I went on a homework stripe in the 5th grade and said, homework is better as an yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is, but
It,
still.
it's it, too.
You got too many choices though for answers when you're older. That's all. My homework he gives me. I'm like, oh man, I could think of this, I could think of that. So, anyways,
It's it's there's a lot to it. But to answer your question, is like, yeah, sometimes it might take a little bit to warm up to me. And
yeah,
if it's not for them, it's not for them. I don't take it personal anymore. But also, though, by my training and development, thanks to Scott McCain, who just did his distinctive story workshop, is that who your customer is not, you know?
yes, Robert, you made me laugh. Sorry. I'm trying to give you a laugh. Yes, Robert, you have. Trust me, you have. But
It's
yes,
it's t- I think too many people, and I only can speak for the wedding industry in entertainment decor, design, planning, is that they play way too small. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to challenge their prospective customers to really get to know them, to really create a dialogue or engage them, right?
yeah.
Remove the faceless communication, right? This is your wedding day. This isn't a bowling party. This is not a picnic in the
Yeah,
park type of
yeah,
preparation.
this is something you're gonna remember for the rest of your life, the day that you started your life together. Absolutely.
You know,
So
I
it's
will
very
give you an example of a wedding I did in 2013. Eric he's an engineer and he's awesome. Uh, I could definitely tell that I've worked with engineers of two different types. Okay. The type A personality where everything is, you could just see the wheels turning up here. Right. And then there's the fun party type of engineer where they're smart, but they're not in the logical side. They're more in the creative side. And I could see right away that Eric's motivation, he was kind of soft spoken in the beginning throughout the planning process because he didn't and I see this in a lot of grooms. You either have the grooms that are 100% all aboard from the very moment, where they want to be involved in the sending out the magnets or the announcements of marriage and all of that. Or they just let the bride do her thing and they're there to support her, but they want her to have that time, right? And I just held back because I could feel like something was there, but Eric had to get comfortable. He had to find his opportunities. He had to find where he could bring out his personality throughout the wedding. And months down the road, I didn't pry, but I'm just like, Eric, this is your wedding too, right? I don't believe for a second that it's just the bride's wedding, especially if the groom's paying money. If the groom is paying money, he's involved in it. However, the planning process in the beginning is all may not be the masculine stuff, right? It might not be the invitations and doing the announcements and reserving professionals. That might not be a groom's thing, right? That's why they kind of just leave it up to the bride, right? But
mhm.
if he's paying for anything, I guarantee he wants to have a say in the matter. And months went by and all of a sudden Eric started to get his footing and he's like, "Hey Brian, is it when my wife and I come in the room, is it okay that we have this upbeat 80s rock song And as everybody's cheering our name, I wear some, I wear like a Tommy Lee headdress, from Motley Crue, and I smash a guitar, and then I pick up my wife and we walk in. And I said, absolutely, let's do it.
You thought it was great, probably.
Absolutely. But I just felt, and obviously psychology, right? I studied this kind of stuff, but also though just being in touch with those people where it's like, okay, you get an understanding of who they are, how they relate to each other, but then it's like, okay, you're assertive, but you're not overbearing, right? You're not too much. You're not going to let them off the hook of the wedding that they want to have, right? But they may not communicate it.
Brian,
So
I want to
it was
go ahead.
awesome because he comes in with these glasses on. He's got this fake hair. He smashes a guitar on the ground. That was awesome. And then he picked up his wife and he carried her on in, and everybody cheered. And yeah,
Oh, you know what, Brian? I wonder if I could give you homework for a week when you go back for the Valentine's week. I just got this idea and I get creative, so I'm just going to share it right here. And probably my audience can help me with this. But how about if, like, we had you tell great wedding stories like that? And if you got the bride and groom's permission, if we could just have little clips of things and honor those people that you've done weddings for,
yeah.
and also just tell the essence of the story and loving. If you guys like that, and if you have some brides and grooms that would love to be honored on our show,
Yeah.
and even have them stop by if they want, I would love that. I think it's a great idea. If you guys think it's a great idea, let me know. But Brian seems to like homework, but I really think that I would love for people to get, one, to get an idea of what you create, and two, I think it would be a nice way to honor some of your customers,
Oh
that
yeah.
when you talk about them, I love it because I see your passion, and it's just not like it's work and yeah, this is what I did and it was a pain in the ass. No, I just hear the love and passion. So I truly, truly would love that. And I might even find some of my lingerie customer bride girls and stuff that, or people I've done parties for. And I think we should just cherish love and talk about.
That's good.
Um, I think to honor the people that have gone, and especially like if that guy would talk about that, or if you have a clip of that or any of that, man, I'm only giving you like 9 days and you're on vacation. But if for some reason I can help, or if there's people that we want to honor, maybe just this whole month or something, whatever. But I think it would be a really great thing to honor those people and to just showcase the things you do, because it's one thing to show, but it's another thing to show the action of
Well,
what you put.
and to me, there's an unfortunate part that happens, depending on somebody's workflow or how a company's designed. They might do a lot of weddings, or they might just do all that they can handle. Yeah, they might have a bigger company where there's multiple planners or entertainers or whatever, and so obviously the amount of workflow is going to change. The business model and so on and so forth. Are they going to be a conglomerate and you know look at quantity, or are they going to be a boutique style and do less, right?
Well,
With greater deepening of story,
mhm.
narrative, production. And it saddens me that as fast as our society moves, that after a wedding is done, it's almost like it's lost into the abyss of wedding history, where the stories and whatnot are not brought forward, regardless if the wedding was 5 years ago or 20 years ago. Doesn't
Mhm.
make any difference. And to me, that's a huge gaping hole in terms of reliving those moments, but also though that getting people to be in touch with what that was.
Right.
And I find it, maybe I'm an anomaly here, but in my section of the industry, it just seems like after a wedding is done and all that, those hours, possibly hundreds of hours, after the wedding is done, besides photographs and testimonials or video testimonials, it doesn't seem like they're ever recycled or ever used again. And
Yeah.
to me, that doesn't work for me.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. Even if you're couples, I mean, I want to volunteer this time with it. Even if you got pictures of him with the guitar or whatever, like,
Mhm.
I will take the pictures and I will make a little promo out of it. I don't care. I want to honor these people, and so I'll help any way I can. But I really think, like you said, I mean, I think for those masterpiece and things that people creatively did in their wedding, I
Mhm.
think the montage to just celebrate them and share with other people, so you're also giving other people ideas, and like you give people permission to be themselves,
Oh yeah.
you know, that's so invaluable, because like you said, so many people say, I'm going to do this and it's going to be this way and that's it, and I mean, I just think I'd love to showcase that in such a romantic, fun way. And like I said, if they're willing, if you get their permission to give me pictures to put on Facebook, and I'll give them the videos that I make, so they'll get a gift from me that way. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it would be a great honor to do that. I think,
I
and
mean,
it was so funny because Robert comes out here. I might
right.
have to have facial tissues on him, but I think it would be sweet. I think it would be so loving. I mean, yeah, I think we need more of that
It'd
in the
be a side
world.
of Robert that we haven't seen in a while, or maybe I've never seen Robert
I
with
know,
teeth.
right?
You know?
So again, like I said, I think it would be a great idea to give homage to you and them and the celebration, and the world needs to see more love and connection and stuff. So, I mean, that's just how I am in February.
I think the world needs to see more story, more narrative.
Yes,
You
yes.
know?
And so that's why I said, let's do that. I know you're on vacation, and even if we have to push it back a week or whatever, but I really think it's the month of love. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't give a crap what people say. I mean, we can make our own rules. And I think that, I think that that would be such a wonderful thing to do, because people need to see that in relationships, and everybody loves a soppy story. Everybody
Well,
loves it. I
well,
love it.
and they're in everybody that's tuning in here is in different industries and different businesses. But when you can share somebody's story, it doesn't make a difference if somebody started, like Mark, you've been working with somebody a week, or if you've been working with them for 20 years, there's stories upon stories right there that are proof of what you've done for them. And you will never be able to control if somebody believes it or not, but it's real, right?
Right.
And that's one thing that I can't just kind of like somebody, like for me, when I talked to Scott McCain, I was reluctant about putting up my book and, finishing it up. And he goes, Brian, you're never going to be able to control how people perceive it. You just
Yeah.
won't. And so, hey, Heather, thanks for
Hi,
tuning in.
Heather. You just missed my idea to Brian about showcasing some of his wedding extravaganzas and couples and stuff. I mean, throw me graphics here, buddy. I'll work them. I'm
It's,
so excited.
after all this, like storytelling narrative training, that I got at Second City a year ago, and anything I can find, like Scott McCain's workshop and anybody else, like being a sponge, is that we have so much ammunition and proof in front of us that we don't know that we have, regardless of what industry we're in.
Hmm.
And to take somebody's words with pictures and use of language, but then to recycle that stuff, it's it's priceless. But it's like the acres of diamonds, right? Where
Hmm.
you don't really realize what you have, and what you have in possibly your backyard or underneath your feet, until you uncover it, or until you actually
Absolutely.
really think about it.
Absolutely.
You
But
know,
yeah,
and to be honest with you, what's the point of all the effort, you know, if we're just going to go on to the next one, the next one, the next one?
mhm.
That we haven't learned anything, in my opinion, if that's the case.
Right, right.
You know,
It's just, yeah. And yeah, look at the time already.
I know.
It just was so much fun. You got my mind going with production and producing. I mean, that would be so stinking cool. I mean, I love that idea. So,
And
um,
as well as I do, Lynn, is that from your interviews and in your other shows and stuff, is that when you get people to talk about themselves, I mean, what are the most important words that people like to share is their own name or thank you, right? That they like to hear is their own name, or for somebody to say thank you, you know.
yes,
And so getting people into a safe place of them opening up and really just bringing it all out, You're not trying to get them to buy anything. You're not trying to win them over with
No.
anything. You're just getting them to share.
And not only to share, but it's amazing how impactful. I had a girl that's writing youth books for the youth, and how peer pressure and drugs and affecting kids, and trying to help kids transition being in high school and things like that is just,
Yep.
you know, and the fact is because she had a hard time when she was going through school.
Mhm.
Like, what if, I mean, and I made the promo for her videos that are going to be done in a movie sometime. I mean, like she took her pain and anguish and trying to impact others so that they have a different experience. Like, that's that's getting out of your way, and
Mhm.
that's definitely caring. And that's what we love, is here you are on vacation, and we're just giving our passion and commitment to giving people what we feel is a side to look at things. We're getting a good viewer base now, and we're honored and we appreciate that to you guys. But letting us be goofy, silly, and not trying to be all perfect here, but just being vulnerable with you guys. It's a great feeling to know that if it helps one person, you know, then that's what we were supposed to do, just the one
I've
person.
I've been on way too many improv stages to ever go back to trying to be, perfect. I mean, which you'll never reach anyways, right?
That's right.
You know, I
Absolutely.
I've been on way too many improv stages and have been in too many theater courses to ever go back to not being anything but myself.
Absolutely. And I think that's what we love about being unscripted here. We show up, we tell you what's in our heart, and we hope that it makes some sense, in the sense that makes you think about, shoot, I'm doing better than Lynn and Brian is right now. Well, good.
Mhm.
You're thinking for yourself. You're not letting this masterful mind just control you. And you went outside the box with us. And
Yep.
we really, really appreciate that.
Well, and one of the worst things that you can do is be limited by, something that society has told you to do or limited you by without you even choosing that, right? You might
Exactly.
do that, but it doesn't mean you chose it.
Exactly. So,
So if you're not living the life that you could have, it starts with a step, one step
yeah.
at a time. And through trust, you're able to get that. And it is like Scott McCain says, everything that you want in life, somebody else has control of. What are you going to do to go get it? Who are you going to meet? And like Charlie Tremendous Jones, man, I'm just full of quotes and inspiration today. But it's like Charlie Tremendous Jones said, you know, in 5 years, the only thing that the only thing that's going to be different about yourself is by the people you meet and the things you read, and probably and the places you go is another part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
You have a choice. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Robert Booker, you wrote so much. We really appreciate your comments. We're going to have to go back and read all your comments.
mhm.
But we appreciate you being here,
Yeah.
and that matters to us. So, what about our action step, Brian?
Yeah, action step is really the same thing. I think there's a lot of meat in this. I think that there's a lot of juice in this one. So it's really for you, it's the same thing that we've been talking about for the past, hour. How do you deepen trust consistently? Right? We've opened up our hearts to what we do and our thoughts on things, but what do you do? How do you deepen trust consistently in your life for the people that matter to you most? What do you do? This is the action. This is the juice. This is the difference maker right here. It's not the words. It's not the talking about it. It's the doing. So,
Absolutely.
so yeah, I mean, it's Friday. So if you want to share what those things are for you, make sure you comment below. Let us know what you're thinking. And yeah, we're gonna move in with Valentine's Day and the month of love.
Like Mark said, month of love.
And
It
I can't help but think of Nat King Cole when that word comes up, love or love, from a Nat King Cole realm, and then sung by Barry White. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yeah. We
so
always
yeah, next week we're gonna venture into the month of love and take everything that we've done so far within relationships and segue over to those pieces as we approach Valentine's Day. So,
We love you too, Heather. Thanks for stopping by.
yes. Thanks, Heather, for being loyal and for
Absolutely.
contributing to us. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, Brian, I know there's an ocean waiting for you, a beach waiting
there
for
is.
you.
Yes,
And
I gotta pack up this laptop and get on the road. So,
yeah, so I want to thank you from our audience to me. I thank you for taking us on your journey. It'll be an interesting week with you being on the beach.
yep.
We're going to go with the flow and we're just going to show up. So don't you worry about a thing, because I know we're not worrying about a thing, but it's it's awesome to being on vacation with you. You enjoy, you have a safe one, okay?
Thank you. Thanks
And
everybody for being loyal and for everybody catching the replay. We're grateful for you, and hopefully this helps you in your life and deepening trust with everybody in your world.
absolutely. Okay, you guys have a good one. Peace out.